Welcome back to First Callouts. I'm Ryan Milton, and this is the show I run for all you competitors every single week right here, teaching you how you can get into that first callout. We cover all sorts of topics, and today we're going to talk about one of the most common prep mistakes that can be, honestly, a make or break for you when it comes to competing, okay? So please make sure you do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, share the video, drop me a comment, a thumbs up, let me know what you think, let me know what you want more of. I appreciate you all being here and watching it. All right, so let's dive in. What is one of the most common mistakes I ever see competitors make when they go in a contest prep, okay? If you don't all know, I've been coaching competitors for a very long time now. I've coached thousands of competitors, honestly, over the years. It's actually insane when I really look back at all the competitors and all the placings and all this stuff. I did a little bit of that a couple months back, kind of just, updating my stats on the website, and I was like, whoa, that's crazy, because I've just been in the trenches for so long doing this stuff, right? And even at that hand, there's a ton of competitors that I interact with regularly that I don't actually coach. People message me on Instagram, they have questions, they want some feedback, they want some more ideas, whatever. And so I talk to a lot of people about prep in general. I know all competitors from all divisions, in pretty much every circle of life, right? At shows I talk to people, the internet I talk to people, I coach a ton of competitors, so on and so forth. So what I find all the time, though, is one thing comes back to a lot of these people that can either, they're kind of setting themselves back. They hold themselves back in a lot of ways. It's definitely one of the most common mistakes, and that would be not having balance when it comes to your approach to prep. Now, there's two stages of this balance, okay? There's balance actually within your contest prep, meaning how you're going about your prep, how you're training, how you're doing your nutrition, how's your recovery, how's your posing. All these things are very important, right? Mentality, all that. That's all got to be included, and you got to have balance in there, right? But there's also this other side of balance where, it's bodybuilding and then there's everyday life, okay? And these two things, they all got to mix. So I'm going to talk a little bit about both of these today and kind of cover some common mistakes, common issues, tell you how you can make something out of this, how you can turn that around, and how you can do things differently. So when it comes to balance in competing, I always suggest getting a coach that can give you a sustainable, balanced approach, right? A lot of coaches, unfortunately, these days do not do that. I mean, there's these athletes and these coaches that it's a my way, it's a highway, it's a ride or die mission to do it as hard as you can, as extreme as you can. And while that might produce results in the short term, I'll tell you what, competitors, you're going to do 1 to 3 shows max probably, because you're either going to get severely burnt out from doing preps, and mentally, physically, you just won't want to do it. You might develop some health issues. That happens very often to a lot of competitors that do these extreme preps, or you will simply have taxed your body so much doing those extreme preps that you just can't actually get into a good competition physique anymore, because your body will fight you at every turn. And I bet some of you watching this right now that have worked with other coaches, worked with many coaches, so on and so forth, been competing for a long period of time, know exactly what I'm talking about in one of those 3 scenarios. And that comes down to the fact that a lot of coaches will say, hey, you know what, it's prep time, we're cutting your calories down 800, 900 calories a day for you women out there. For guys, we're going, 1,500 or something, which is honestly what women's division competitors could cut on, and it's detrimental. It shuts down your metabolism, it shuts down your hormones. You're spending then another 2 hours in the gym doing weights every day. Sometimes it's 3. I know some coaches and some competitors have told me they spend 2-3 hours in the gym just weight training, and then they have to do a fasted cardio session in the morning or a cardio session in the evening, sometimes twice, right? So literally we're talking about people being in the gym upwards of 4 or 5 hours a day with minuscule amount of calories. And what we're setting the body up for that is, yeah, sure, you might get really lean and shredded and whatever one time. You're going to feel like absolute dog shit mentally and physically, and basically, you might have some issues posing, you're probably shaking, you're having all kinds of problems, and it was to hell and back to get to that stage. And so even if you win your show, a lot of times it's not even worth it, right? To have gone through what you went through for 12, 16 weeks and then to finally get to the show, but feel so bad the entire process. And then not to mention the fact that now you have all these issues after, right? These competitors come out of a show and they gain 20, 30, 40 pounds sometimes within 3-4 weeks of the event. And that's because of their body literally rebounding, saying, oh my God, you starved us, we were working too hard, you beat us down, and now we gotta rebuild, we gotta repower it. So we're gonna, pack on as much body fat as we can. We gotta start to rebalance your damaged metabolism, rebalance that damaged hormones. And sometimes your body doesn't do that. And again, unfortunately, sometimes when you do these extreme preps, you do develop lifelong issues metabolically, hormonally, and sometimes even in your organs. Like literally in your organs, you can have organ failure, you can have all sorts of things come up that actually get you conditions that will be an issue for the rest of your life. So this is why I say, hey, anybody out there who's prepping, don't guess your way through a prep first off, okay? A lot of people I know think that there's so many resources, my videos, example, whatever. You might watch one of these and just think you can do this stuff. Truth is, it is very, very competitive. It's very hard to do this sport at a high level and get in the first call out, win your shows, whatever. If you're doing a random competition in the middle of, some small town where 5 people show up and they're not really doing any better than you, they're all kind of guessing away, sure. But if you want to go to the next level and you want to do your best and you want to win shows, move on to nationals, become a pro, well, what you got to do then is I strongly suggest you get with a coach that can help you get there. Because coaches are honestly, a huge advantage for any competitor. I know a lot of people want to think they can cut corners and save money and save time. You'll do that, you'll cut corners, you'll save money, and you'll save time if you actually hire a coach. As counterintuitive as that might seem in the beginning, because a lot of people don't realize if they have to do 5, 6, 7, 8 different shows to even get a first call-out placing or nationally qualify or whatever, the money could have easily been spent one time on a coach, and you could have done 1, maybe 2, 3 shows, something like that, far less, and got the same level where you want to be competition-wise, right? So you got to have a coach, but don't just hire a coach that can get you shredded or can get you lean. Hire a coach that's going to also be concerned about your overall health and wellness. This is something I'm always hammering home. Health and wellness is everything. Don't go into these competitions thinking that it's all about what's on the outside. Sure, that's what you're being judged on. That's what the judges are looking at. It is posing, it is presentation, it is muscularity and conditioning. But what's going on with you internally, right? Are you balanced in the regards of, okay, you set yourself up in a way that prep is working with your body harmoniously. It's working for your body. It's not working against your body. Because unfortunately, a lot of competitors end up in this spot where they've done preps against their body. And if that's you, hashtag right now, take a screenshot of this video, post it on your story, and put that hashtag against your body, because that's what happens, right? Competitors get into spots where literally their body won't drop weight. It's fighting them at every turn, hold on to every bit of fat. You're getting headaches, you feel terrible, you feel sick, and unfortunately a lot of coaches and competitors say that that's the way it's supposed to be, and just to grind through it, go through it. Be a badass and grind your way through it. That's the part of prep that's supposed to happen. No, it's not. That shouldn't happen. If you do a prep correctly, you should, of course, always be working hard. You're going to work hard. You're going to train hard. You're going to eat right. You're going to have to do these things and have strong discipline and pose and do all this. Yeah, there's a lot of discipline and hard work. But doing it at a smart level is better than doing it at a stupid level, right? Like, why, for example, if you were going to go build a house, okay? If you were going to build a house, you could try to sit there and karate chop the fucking pieces of wood that you needed to shape the house. And after you bash your hand into the fucking wood 18,000 times, maybe it would break. Or you could get a damn saw and cut the motherfucker one time and be done with it in 30 seconds. That's literally the difference, right? Don't mistake hard work for actually getting yourself further. Don't mistake doing 2 hours of cardio a day and 5 hours in the gym and dieting so extreme that you're basically in starvation, almost debatably survival mode. Don't mistake that for being a better competitor. This is not a dieting competition. It's not a cardio competition. It is a bodybuilding competition, okay? And the goal should always be to train as smart as you can, as hard as you can, and get the best results. And a lot of that comes from the coaching. A lot of that does does come down to the program that you follow in the gym and the cardio and the nutrition and everything. Here's what I'm going to give you. My couple tips right now as a coach that's worked with thousands of athletes, and I know this stuff to work, and I know other coaches that have success, and I know that they do the same stuff if they're actually engaged in, working with their athletes, which they would be if they're successful. Unfortunately, there's a lot of riffraff coaches out there. I'm not talking about them. But here's my tips, okay? When it comes to nutrition, always diet as slowly as you can. Never, ever, if you get a coach, if you hire a coach and they cut your calories 1,000 or more, literally from where you were, let's say you were at 2,000 or something in your off season as a woman, and then your coach says, hey, you're at 1,000 now, get the hell out of there, get a refund, move on. Anybody that's cutting more than, I would say, honestly, 400, 500, 600 calories off wherever you're at, your maintenance, that's just too extreme right at the gate, probably for most people, because again, it's going to couple down with the other things. So again, if it's totally custom, it could be different. It might be something that's required, but you should always have a red flag pop up at least that says, okay, I don't know why this just happened, and get an explanation from your coach, okay? Because if I have to do that, if I cut calories significantly for anybody, I've never cut anyone to 1,000, by the way. I'm never cutting anybody below that. Never done it in my career. And what happens is if somebody says, hey, whoa, my calories, we just cut these down 400 or 500, I'm wondering why, I'm going to give them a full explanation. I'm going to tell them every step of the way. I'm going to explain thoroughly, hey, this is why, this is what needs to happen, this is what we're going to do. I'm also going to be monitoring you, adjusting, and paying attention, make sure everything's working for you, right? So you got to have somebody that can do that, because a lot of coaches are just, going off their coach's plan or taking a guess, and your health is not something you want to guess on, all right? So always diet as slow as you can. That's my suggestion. Drop your calories. Your goal should always be on prep to eat as much as you possibly can while still getting results. So remember that. Eat as much as you possibly can while still getting results. That's going to help you preserve muscle. That's going to get you leaner. That's going to prevent metabolic slowdown, hormone damage, all sorts of everything. Health and wellness is going to be up better too. Everything's good. So what you want to do is diet as slow as you can, still get results. Next thing you want to do when it comes to your training is you want to train as intensely as you can on the right exercises, really, really hard, and get your ass out of the gym to recover. This is something that a lot of competitors do. They catch themselves overtraining, under recovering because they're in the gym for so long, doing so many sets, so many reps of just pointless exercises. There is a curve point when it comes to training, right? And what I'm talking about a curve point is there is a the effective dose, and then it tapers off. And there's one on the other side too. So it kind of looks like this, the arc of, oh, you didn't do enough right down here, but you did enough here, and if you do too much more, you're going back down here, right? And so it's this arc of training intensity where you need to be training the right movements for sure. And that's got to be custom for your physique. Don't follow generic programs. If you're a bikini competitor, don't follow no generic program. You're a bodybuilder, don't follow no generic program. Every single person's body is different, and what you got to bring to your aesthetic to make yourself competitive and look your best and get in that first call out, guess what? It's different. You got to train certain strong points, you got to bring up certain weak points, you got to really create the balanced physique that fits the criteria of your division. So all your programming should be custom built for you, literally down to the set and the rep and everything else. That's what I do on TeamFFLEX, okay? And that's what I strongly suggest for everybody. So make sure it's all custom, make sure it's all built right, and then understand that there's this arc. So you got to train hard, you got to train intensely, you got to do your best with what lifts are required and programmed scientifically and in a way that's going to benefit you by your coach, and then get out of the gym, because the next bit is recovery. You got to make sure you recover to preserve your muscle mass, grow muscle mass, burn body fat, and maintain a good position in your prep. Let your body rest just as much as you let it work. It's so important, and this is the variable that so many competitors miss because they're doing countless sets and reps, and it's just basically pointless, and you're beating your body up. You're going to get injuries, you're going to waste muscle, you're going to have other problems where you're going to start storing body fat and so on and so forth. So it's something you want to avoid at all costs. So train smart and recover smarter, okay? That's what you got to remember. Recovery is king when it comes to all levels of prep. Even if you're in improvement season, don't underestimate the ability to recover. It will change the game for your physique, okay? And then what we're talking about when it comes to cardio, as I say, do as little as you can for as long as you possibly can, okay? I've had competitors, many of them, go through preps doing zero cardio. And as much as that might sound crazy, it's because I set the nutrition and the training correctly. If I do that and it works for this person and maybe they're a fresh new competitor, it's very easy to not do a lot of cardio. And the reason I say fresh new competitors is because a lot of times, unfortunately, I start with clients that have been from other coaches that had those bad experiences that I was talking about where now they do have metabolism problems, they do have hormone problems, they might have a harder time prepping, and they might need some cardio. And yes, maybe some people just need it. That might just be what your genetics are about. That might just be how your body works, and some people might not. And every prep will also be different. It also depends on what's going on in your lifestyle. Again, all this is why it's important to have a coach, but do as little cardio as you can. Don't overdo the cardio. Don't jump into 2 hours cardio a day when you say you're 12 weeks out, it's time to start prep. If coach puts you on that, I would strongly contest that and ask them to get a great explanation for why that is, and hopefully it makes sense, okay? Because I've never had to do that to anybody, all right? The most cardio that I ever suggest for anybody is an hour, and that's for people that are doing like a rest day. It's an active rest day most of the time. I'm not usually ever putting people on a spot where, hey, let's go to the gym for 2 hours a day, let's add in cardio, let's do 2 hours. I've never done that, okay? I've never put anybody in that spot because, again, it's not effective. It's counterintuitive. It's going to hold people back. It's not going to get them the best result. And so how is that coaching if I'm not getting people the best result? By the way, I just want to say, if anybody wants help with their training right now, I know I've already kind of been going on into this and we haven't even got to the second half of the video, go to TeamFFLEX.com right now. We have a free coaching trial. You can train with me or one of my coaches on TeamFFLEX for free. 7 days, literally. Go to the website, TeamFFLEX.com. Pop-up will come up. Just put your email in. Automatically invites you to our app. You don't have to put payment information in. You're not paying a dime to us, not even a cent. It's totally free. We want to do it for you for 7 days to give back, to help a lot of people. Unfortunately, like I said, a lot of competitors do get in bad spots and they've had hard times and they want to leave the sport. Don't do that yet. Go experience this coaching, and if you're a first timer, definitely experience it because it's world class, all right? Go check it out and it's going to be great for you. It will teach you anything. It'll teach you something, if nothing else, right? Like, even if you don't have wanting to continue or get a program or do anything like that, there's no hard sell, there's no push, there's none of that. Literally, we just want to give back. We want to help you. We want to help you get where you want to be, give you some information, and hopefully we can do that on our trial. So please go over there, TeamFFLEX.com, and try it out. It's totally free. If you're a competitor and you don't do this, I would say you pretty much don't want to get yourself in the first call out, because even if you got another coach, you're working with somebody else, this information that I'm talking about will benefit you. So go over there, TeamFFLEX.com right now, try a free trial, all right? Now, we just talked about what everything will be if, people are overdoing it. They're overdoing it with the training, they're overdoing it with the cardio, the nutrition, all that, right? And what happens when you do that is you get subpar results, okay? Actually doing too much, again, going back to this curve, that really goes to every single thing. I pretty much use that analogy for training. That's the same for nutrition. You can overdo the nutrition, it's over here. You can overdo, the weight training, it's over here. You can overdo every part of your prep, and it puts you over the top, and it's not going to benefit you, okay? It actually gets detrimental at a certain point. So you want to avoid doing that at all costs. And, hopefully I gave you an idea of what a more balanced prep would look like, a better way to do it. Do, good weight training sessions. Don't be in the gym for 5 hours a day. And then do as little cardio as you can. If you have to do some, sprinkle it in sparingly, add it up over time, see how your body responds. And then same with your nutrition. Never cut calories too dramatically. You always eat as much as you possibly can while still getting results. And then what you got to think about is this, the variable I didn't include when it comes to your training, is that as everything is customized for you, as everything is built for you, as it should be, don't get a coach that's giving you any generic PDF shit they give everybody, okay? Please do not. You got to have a constant adaptation. Your coach has to be monitoring you, checking on your progress pictures, checking on your body stats, hearing your feedback, and adjusting the program. This is key. This is absolutely key. You might need to raise calories sometimes. You might need to lower them. Sometimes you might need to change weight training up, or you might need to add more, do a little less. Cardio could change. All this stuff needs to happen. And if you get one protocol at 12 weeks out, 6 weeks out, guarantee you bring in subpar physique to stage, because there's no way in hell that can happen. Even for a lifestyle client that we coach on TeamFFLEX, we're adjusting programs all the time, changing calories, changing macros, changing this and that to help them get their absolute best results. So you got to make sure that that's always happening for you. Now, let's flash off the training. You competitors out there, that's just one part. I know that can seem like everything. Here's also the thing you got to understand about competing. As much as there's a hoorah bullshit on the internet about like go all in, be extreme, put your head down and work, don't talk to anybody, don't engage. When you take that type of prep into your lifestyle, okay, when you go all in, you go full throttle 1000%, you do everything else, let me tell you what you do. You burn every other part of your life out of your life. And I'm talking about your friends, your family, your social life, your relationships, your husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, kids. You don't have the balance. And with that, you're going to honestly be a total detriment to yourself. You're going to hold yourself back in every other avenue of your life. Sure, you might look shredded on stage for 1 or 2 shows, but you lost the respect of your family, you lost the friendships you had, you lost maybe your job. A lot of people backburner their careers even when they're on a prep. And that's not balance, ladies and gentlemen. That's not balance. And that's not going to serve you in the long term. That's not going to at all be able to get you to the levels you want to go. You have to understand that when you go into bodybuilding, the actual sport of bodybuilding, interesting enough, what you're being judged on is balance. And then over here, to have the best balanced physique for bodybuilding, guess what you want to have? Balance from bodybuilding into your life. And when we talk about bodybuilding, I'm talking about all divisions. I've already made that clear in other videos, but I'm talking about bikini, wellness, all that. If you are working on your body, you are doing these competitions, you are a bodybuilder, okay? And what we're looking at here is if you don't have balance in your life, as much as that might seem great for a while, whatever, you might hear people hoorah on about that, it doesn't actually pay off in the end, right? If you talk to the top Olympians or the pros or whatever, some of them would have said at some points in time they did periods of that, right? Where they went in too hard. You might even watch their content where they're talking about, hey, go all in, do all this stuff, you know, block everybody else out. And it seems really cool to hear at the moment. It's almost even inspiring. But then guess what? You flash forward, you know, you look at the bodybuilders that were in their prime 10 years ago, and now they're all saying they regret it. They're saying that, you know, yeah, it was part of it at the time, but it wasn't something, if I had to do it again, I would do that again. Because basically they didn't have the balance. And while it might have accelerated them in their physiques, it detracted from the rest of their life. And if you're not looking at bodybuilding as a thing you want to do for your life, you know, it's not the right sport for you. Because even if you don't want to compete for the rest of your life, you should always practice the lifestyle that comes with bodybuilding, right? Training with weights, taking care of your body, eating the right things, and, you know, having discipline. All these things will elevate you in life. It will detract you if you go too extreme. So what I always suggest is, hey, cool, you want to go on a prep? Awesome, do it. Do it smart so you don't waste time, you don't lose time, you don't take away from your friends, your family, you know, your career, all this stuff that's in your lifestyle that's actually so important. Because, you know, most of you won't compete for the rest of your life. Most of you will compete for a stint of time that could be 1 show, could be 20 shows, could be 10, 20 years maybe. The amount of competitors that I know have been competing for 10 years is like I could fit them on one hand. And that's going all around the world talking about competitors, because it's just not a very common thing. And anybody that can do that, let me tell you what they have. They have balance. They know that, okay, you got to have the life with the actual prep experience, the being a bodybuilder experience, competing experience. If you don't have this balance, it's going to detract from everything. You'll get a worse physique, you're going to have a worse life, and at the end of the day, you're sitting there eating out of your Tupperware, and you're not happy because your career failed, because you slacked off at work, you got fired, you know, you're not happy because your wife left you, your husband left you, your kids, you don't spend time with them. See how this could just, it kind of can snowball, and unfortunately this does happen a lot. So what I strongly suggest for all you competitors out there is you go into these things, you decide to be a bodybuilder, you decide to compete, awesome, great, you should do it. It's a great thing. You will get you know, better physically and better mentally from doing this sport. But you also got to understand that you can't just abandon the rest of your life. You got to have the balance between these two things. You got to be able to know when it's time to click the switch on and become a fucking animal in the gym, and then click the switch off because it's time to go home and be a parent, or be you know, a spouse, or be at your day job and accelerating there. And what you should be able to do is turn that animal switch that you bring in the gym on in other parts of your life too, so that you can bring your best version of yourself to your job, your best version of yourself to your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband, your wife, your best version of yourself to your kids, and so on and so forth, right? You want to be able to do that all around. Don't bring your best version of yourself in the gym and make sure nobody else in your life has it. And that's huge. Please understand that. And if you want to to go as far as you want, and you want to be able to become a pro, you want to be able to go to the next level, you want to continually get better in this sport, this is how you do it. You got to have balance. You got to come balance with your training, balance with your lifestyle. If you can bring these two things together, now you'll be a great competitor, and you will be able to get into first callouts. You'll be able to excel in this sport. You're going to feel good all the time. You're going to prep, and people won't even believe you're on prep because you're not one of the miserable ones. You're not one of the people that look like they're literally becoming a zombie. You're not one of the people that complain and are negative. You're not one of the people that hate the experience. You're not one of the people that leave the sport. You become an example of what it is to become a better person through bodybuilding, what it is to become a better person in, training, nutrition, and whole discipline, and show an example for so many people that need to see it. And if you really make this sport look like it's a cyclical sport where it's so selfish, it's all about you, and you're basically killing yourself, and at the end of the day you hate the results you got anyway because it was miserable, well, the sport isn't right for you, and you're not becoming an example. You're not being your best self for yourself, and you're for sure as shit not being your best self for anybody else, and that detracts from it, that holds it back, and that's not how it needs to be. I strongly suggest that all of you out there that compete, or you want to compete, or you want to continue to compete, or maybe you're in the spot where you even are considering not because you've gone through some of the stuff I'm talking about, I strongly suggest that you take what I said into consideration today. Bodybuilding is balance in every single way, and to get your best out of this sport, you want balance on all corners of your life. Never ever go into a prep sacrificing anything. And as I say that, a lot of people will be like, oh, that's bullshit, Coach Rye, you have to sacrifice so much. Know what things to sacrifice. Sacrifice the extra fucking donut. Sacrifice the candy. Sacrifice the drinking. Sacrifice the shit that doesn't serve you in life. And keep the things that will make sure you live a long, happy, and prosperous life. Alright? And so hopefully today I gave you some insight. I really do want to help all of you out here. If you have any questions, or you want to learn more, or you maybe want to see what a training program would be set up like, please go to TeamFFLEX.com right now and subscribe to our free trials on a pop-up. Just put your email in. You instantly get invited to our coaching app, and me or one of my coaches will literally guide you and help you, and even just talk like, hey, let's figure out how to get better balance. Let me show you how to train. Let me show you what I suggest for where you're at. Let me give you some insights, some ideas, some other stuff to think about. Don't get trapped in your own mind, competitors. I know how easy this is. You've done things one way for so long, it's so hard to consider another way, but there is better ways. There's easier ways to go about your preps, and if you do this, it will only serve you. It's not going to hold you back. So please go to TeamFFLEX.com, subscribe to trials, totally free, if anything in this video made sense to you today. And I appreciate you all being here and watching. Even if you don't do that, even if you don't do the trial, I seriously hope you got something out of this today. Thanks for watching First Callouts. I'm kind of like been ranting on for 20 minutes about this thing, but I hope you got something out of it. I'll be back tomorrow for Fitness Fire. Please subscribe, share this video. Please share this video. If there's any video you should share, it's this one, because this is the differentiating factor for so many competitors and just making the sport of bodybuilding and the world overall a better place. So please share it, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. Coach Rye is out.